What is going on, guys? XHOUNDISHx here, and today we're going to take a look at hand cannons in the Crucible and go over what the best hand cannons are following the April update. Similar to the pulse rifle video, not that much has changed. There are some certain weapons which feature more or less commonly into PvP, so we'll go over what's what, but first it's worth mentioning that there were no blanket changes to hand cannons in the update. Minor things were changed with a few weapons, but the slight boost to hand cannon popularity right now is probably largely based around the slight nerfs to other meta weapons, of course making them more viable. So getting into it, our categorical top tier of hand cannons now seem to lie with the 22 rate of fire and 81 impact archetype of hand cannon. So we'll start with Hawkmoon. So Hawkmoon had a base range buff in the April update, and it's improved its performance a lot from my experience so far. Hawkmoon is now generally pretty reliable in PvP at close to medium range. The phantom bullets are still a thing, but it's nowhere near as poor as it was at the start of year 2. And it may not be at year 1 status, but Hawkmoon is certainly a viable option now in PvP. I see a lot of other players using the weapon effectively, and I'd say that considering its bonuses, Hawkmoon is probably the best exotic hand cannon in the Crucible right now. This, of course, is my opinion, but we do have weapons like the Ace of Spades, which is a solid and reliable exotic, fitting into the same archetype. Of course, this is limited only to hunters. I'll talk about other exotics like the Last Word in a while, but in the same archetype, we have legendary hand cannons like Luna, which continues to be very solid in general in the Crucible with healthy range and stability for PvP. And the same can be said for Finale's Peril, which is certainly one of the best legendary hand cannons. It handles well and it has very good aim assist, is all around pretty consistent compared to most hand cannons in PvP. And then we have hand cannons like the Lord High Fixer, which is new to year 2 and is also a pretty good choice for PvP. It's snappy, has strong target acquisition, and definitely sits high in the list for legendary hand cannons. Stats aside though, these are the hand cannons which I feel perform the best in the Crucible and offer the most reliability. There are a bunch of other weapons in the archetype, Imago Loop and Her Revenge, just to mention a few, but with good bonuses they're all pretty solid. But moving on to another archetype, we have the 32 rate of fire and 68 impact type of hand cannons. So that's things like Stolen Pride, the Water Star, Zali's Bane, and Appellant 3 from New Monarchy. And these are much faster firing hand cannons which handle like the Thorn. I feel like these haven't really been much of a factor so far in year 2 because there aren't that many weapons available in the archetype, but they are, however, pretty good for PvP, that higher rate of fire meaning that you can disrupt targets mid gunfight and deal with rushers a little bit easier. They also perform pretty well against fast firing weapons due to their own higher rate of fire. Stolen Pride is a fantastic example of this type of hand cannon. You can land shots so quickly and accurately, which is aided of course by its high aim assist. The weapon can technically kill quicker than other archetypes of hand cannon and is certainly as reliable as any other type in PvP. I really enjoy the fast rate of fire on these hand cannons, and if you like the feel of Thorn for its rate of fire, then you'll probably enjoy this weapon as well. A good roll of Appellant 3 also from the New Monarchy would be pretty good in PvP. It's a shame overall that there aren't more hand cannons of this type in year 2. If you guys haven't tried either of these out, I strongly recommend that you do. So to talk about the other exotic hand cannons, we have the Last Word, which also fits the 32 rate of fire archetype. So the Last Word lost its bonus hipfire damage in the April update, which has certainly knocked its effectiveness in PvP. Essentially, you're going to lose out a lot more on those close range gunfights. The weapon has lost a lot of its appeal in general as a close range defense weapon, and I feel like the skill gap as well has increased with the Last Word. So those who are really skilled with it already will continue to be fairly effective with the weapon, but if you're much less used to it, then you're likely going to have a pretty hard time getting kills with it in PvP. I feel like this situation is made worse by the sniper ammo changes as well. Since a lot of players would combo the Last Word and a sniper, you're now going to use your sniper from, much less of your kills in PvP, meaning a more flexible primary is the optimum choice, and this is why we see weapons like Hawksaw and Mida Multitool so much. And finally, the first curse stays in more or less the same place. It's a solid gun which can deal some insane damage. The 15 rate of fire hand cannons are perhaps slightly more viable now since most super strong weapons are marginally less potent following the update. With a steady hand you can get some great kills with the weapon, but you're always going to run into those situations where you lose out to other primaries because your rate of fire is so low. It's a fun weapon to use, but for most players this remains a competitive non-factor on the most part. So there you go guys, that's my thoughts on hand cannons currently in PvP. I found them a lot more fun in general since the April update, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But if you have enjoyed the video guys, then please drop a like, that would be awesome. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button for a lot more. But for now, you guys take it easy, I'll catch you very soon.